Hey y'all, it's Renegade, and it's time to spill some more reality on all the shocking alerts, game changing disruptions, and vicious blockings that Netflix's The Circle Season 7 has had to offer. The first two episode batches have been out for a bit now, and with two more batches set to drop this and next Wednesday, there's no better time than now to go over our remaining 8 players and discuss my mid season power rankings. Much like my mid season rankings for Big Brother 26, these thoughts are all from me, myself, and I, breaking down my overall rankings on the final 8 in order that I see them winning the season. Now, remember, this is not my list of favorites, because that list likely could be very different, and in the end, it's all for fun, so let's get some discussion going on in the comments below on your power rankings, and make sure you like and subscribe because it lets me know that you're enjoying the content. Without any more disruptions, let's go ahead and jump into the power rankings, starting with the 2 players who didn't make it to this update. Our 10th placer, Savannah, and her dog Samson, who clearly was just a little too interested in hooking up than she was in strategizing. Her elimination really set off a narrative for this season that has been far too prevalent in other seasons, where power couples reign supreme. And in this season, when there were 3 right off the bat, it's pretty clear that this season, being obviously linked to someone, is not in your benefit. And I think that's why Heather, aka Andy, experienced the ultimate betrayal to see her eliminated in ninth place, as her showmans realized it was in their best benefit to get rid of the target on their back while gaining allies in the process. Much like Savannah, Heather showed that she was focused too much on one individual, and it was so obvious to the group that she needed to be removed from the game board. So that leaves us with our final 8 going into the next batch of episodes, and we sort of know which players are most vulnerable to be blocked within the first 3 seconds of the first episode. So the player that I feel the least confident in their chances at winning the Circle Season 7 is going to be Darian. And oof, Darian's game has literally just unraveled completely over the last 2 to 3 episodes, and he really didn't do much to cause it other than being linked closely with the other bros. But Darian's problem is just he flat out is bad at the strategic game. His decision to trust Kevin to make him the second influencer is going to come back to bite him so hard. And I just get the feeling if he's not blocked this round, he ends up sort of in a spot that someone that could be like sniped out before the end, or someone that people just don't really respect enough to give a high ranking to if they do make it to the end game. For me, Darian just kind of feels like he's pretty dead in the water at the moment, though, unless they really are punking us with the edit, because the only person that was named as an option was featured pretty heavily in the upcoming preview, so why I feel like Darian was nowhere to be found. Either way, he ain't winning. Next. Now at 7, I have Tiara, aka Antonio, and I actually really like Tiara in the game, but her comments blowing up the last group chat trying to be that bitch, I think took all the attention off of Rachel whatsoever. And when she's only been in this game the least amount of everybody here, she's just giving that 5th place finalist edit, or the one who leaves right before the finale, or she can honestly even be blocked this episode. Antonio's a really fun personality, but he blew up a lot of his spots strategically for Tier, and the only way I really feel like this really changes for them if they're really able to socially integrate themselves in this game. And honestly, there's only a few episodes left here. I just don't think there's much time to recover, and at least enough to the point where she's going to be able to rise high enough on everybody's list to be considered a true contender. So I unfortunately have Antonio, aka Tierra, here at number 7. Now at number 6, I do have Kevin, and Kevin is someone that I think has a little bit more of an upside than Darian and Tiara do in that he is still a very huge target. He is going to garner some more respect though, because it's pretty well known that he is playing the game, and he has been playing the game pretty much since the beginning. So he's definitely falling into that role that someone like Miles fell into last season, where they're an obvious power player and a threat. So he's gonna always have that huge target on him regardless. And could potentially be sniped out before the end game just because he's so out there. I still don't really see a world where he's able to win even if his alliances gain power, as it seems like the girl power this season is leading to a likely female victory here. So while I do see him potentially getting to the end game and perhaps being a strong contender, I just feel like there's too many people left that have ranked above him that have just played more solid games to this point that will likely edge him out in the last vote because they just want to see them win versus seeing Kevin win. So I do think Kevin could possibly be second place at highest, but I just can't put him any higher on the power ranking here. Now at number five, I'm put Garrett. And here's the thing. I really like Garrett. And it's clear that everyone else kind of enjoys him too, but the problem with Garrett's game at the moment is that he's not really connecting to anybody to become their number one, which is definitely why I kind of have my reservations here for Garrett. At the same time, though, it's definitely difficult for a gay man in the circle just because you're the only one usually, and with so much emphasis on flirting and hooking up, 'cause I mean, it is a Netflix show after all, there's really only so much Garrett is going to kind of be able to do here. I do think he has a great strategic mind, however, and we've really been shown that when he makes moves, he makes the correct ones. So I do see potentially a storyline for him that was set up in this last episode where he comes from behind and snatches the final check mark from all the rest. That is if he makes it through this next walking. But as a latecomer and someone who is a little bit of a waiter to make his moves, I'm a little worried that Garrett's ultimate arc will be that he will make the right moves to get to the end game, but the timing unfortunately will be too late for him to get the influence necessary to be the highest rated overall in the game. So I put Garrett here at number five, just because I have a little bit more faith in my top four at this moment. As I said, this is the season of the ladies, which is why the top four here will be all female players in the game. And at number four, we do have Madeline, who is our other late arrival. And I do see an argument here where Madeline could have been our number one this season. She made some of the most shrewd decisions I've ever seen someone make in the show, and her willingness to be so flexible with her strategy really has proven very beneficial for her. Madeline has aligned with like 75% of this group at one point or another, which goes to show her strategic and social abilities are amazing. The reason I can't rank Madeline any higher, though, is that she lost a lot of her control with her lie to the group chat about Andy saying someone can't be trusted. Her game was just completely given away at that point, and I just feel in just fear here that even if she does rebound, she'll just never get the trust of everybody completely outside of Kevin. That I just can't see her being the final winner, and in the same time, that's even if she gets there, because she really could become a huge target at any point moving forward, kind of like Kevin. I just like her social game a lot more than Kevin, and I like her strategic game a lot more than Garrett. So I do see a potential here where Madeline can actually overcome the odds and get to the end here. I just give a little bit more power to the other three players that we have here. At number three is Rachel, and if you would have told me after the first set of episodes that Rachel had winner potential, I would have said you were lying. But that disruption profile swap with Madeline was easily played to Rachel's benefit the most. It was very much so a game changing moment to her where it's hilarious that before that I really compared Deb to Big Brother 26's Angela in the beginning, but the difference here is that there's just so much other drama going on here that everyone is forgetting about Rachel's little quirks because ultimately there's so many other bigger fish to fry. She's also gotten a lot of focus since the start of the show, so there's always a part of me that feels like Rachel could have winner potential, but she's also one of the most exciting and funny people on this cast, so I feel like she's going to be featured, honestly, regardless. So I'm trying not to take that and let that cloud my vision a little bit here, but at this point, she's one of the few I definitely see that are locked in for the end game, regardless what goes down. For me, though, Rachel's end game potential depends on how many of her allies are going to be there with her in the end. Now, at number two, I have Jadeja, and I'm actually very surprised to have Jadeja this high initially because she's proven to be the sweet strategist of the season. She has really started to mount a lot of support in her favor, and the fact that she basically brought together her own side of the circle in Gianna, Garrett, and Darian to back her up and what she wanted shows that she has a lot of influence despite never getting the blue check just yet. I do think this next blocking is huge for her because obviously if she ends up going, then, well, so much for that, but if she stays, even if Darian leaves, I just get it's so much of a target is going to come off of her that she'd be able to float gracefully to the end game without anybody really coming for her. And if Darian ends up staying, well, then that's another number in her corner. And it looks like at this point she'd have at least a vast majority of the house to rule in her favor. So, hmm. Like I said, she could end up getting the numbers here. And while there are definitely bigger targets than her that should be taken out before the end game, it's just giving me everything that Seaburn wanted Rebecca to be. And I feel like, though, Jadeja probably knows what period pain is, though, unlike Seaburn. So I really like Jadeja. She's proven to be a very competent player. She's very smart, and we've had a lot of her perspective as well, too. I think she'd make a fantastic winner. But my number one pick here, and yeah, I know I said it's season of the women, and look at me here. It's my number one pick being a catfish, but I didn't want to do it. But I'm going to do it. Gianna is my number one choice for the most likely to be the number one choice in the end game. And it's just this whole season feels like it's been told from the perspective of the twins here. Obviously, yes, they were the first to be blocked, but saved themselves with the disruptor twist. So there's a story there regardless. But since then, they have really done everything right to reingratiate themselves into the fold. Much like Shubi did in season one, I do think there's some benefit to being the last player rated in the first round if you are able to escape elimination. And Gianna really has that underdog energy here that will always be with her throughout the entire game just because that's her first impression. The fact that she was rated number one yet again this week shows that she has such a great social game. And even though she's currently working against Rachel's alliance in theory, it's very clear that the Rachana alliance is thrown in our faces for a reason. It wouldn't surprise me if they were actually our final two, but I'm just going to give the edge to Gianna because the twins have shown to be very savvy, self interested, and even if they do happen to strike a deal with Kevin to get rid of one of their numbers this round, I do think they still have the influence to shift numbers back in their favor. Much like how the brothers won Big Brother Canada 4, I just get the feeling the brothers are going to do it again here. So, that being said, Gianna is officially ranked my number one for my mid-season power ranking predictions. Circle, lock in my ratings. And now we just wait for Wednesday to watch my top three somehow get blocked one by one and Darian to win. But even if that happens, who cares? Because the season has been so much fun. I've been really enjoying the power shifts this season, and I'm sure with the disruptor twist raising the stakes like never before, we're bound to see the final five episodes bring really unexpected results. But as always, I can't wait to see how this all turns out, and hopefully you can't either, especially if you made it this far. Thank you so much for listening, and please like and subscribe because it lets us know you're enjoying the content. We'll be back after the finale for a reality retrospective of the series, but until then, comment below on your top picks to be the final influencer standing, and I'll link last season's retrospective if you wanted to hear my thoughts on that as well. Be sure to catch all of our continuing weekly coverage on Big Brother 26, Survivor 47, and RuPaul's Drag Race Global All Stars, as well as some mid-season coverage on the Challenge 40 and the Anonymous. And if you love International Drag Race, be on the lookout for content on the recently ending Mexico 2, Philippines 3, Thailand Season 3, Espana 4, and UK 6 over the coming weeks. But until next time, this is Renegade signing out, and remember to keep spilling that tea, y'all. Bye!